name is Brittany Goodman, and I have a daughter with Rett Syndrome. Her name is Blakely Goodman. She is 9, about to be 10, in her 4th grade year at Mill Creek Elementary. Her team has been absolutely amazing as educators, working with her to keep her on track with her peers. She is doing 4th grade level math work, which is amazing, especially for a little girl who can't use her hands. She's also tracking along with reading, a little bit behind her peers because it takes a while to kind of get up to speed with that, especially when she started out in kindergarten, kind of getting in the tools in place that she needed to engage and communicate and read and those type things. But she's doing very well, and I credit a lot of that to her team, them being willing to reach out and find the right resources to help them engage her more fully. I've written down a few things that as a parent, I would love you guys as educators to know. First of all, I love being asked this question. What would you like us as educators to know about Rett Syndrome? Because that shows me as a parent that you are willing to learn. And I think that's most important in any industry that you're working in, is that you are continually learning. Yes, there are experts, but even those experts are continuing to learn new things. We are not expecting you to come out of college knowing and understanding this disorder. It is highly specialized and it needs highly specialized tools. So there's a few things that I want you to understand today that I'm going to go through. One, I'm going to go through them and then kind of talk about them, but Rett is not a cognitive disorder. It is a motor disorder. It is a very complicated disorder. It involves or is necessary that you have a communication partner for that child. We need to presume competence in their ability, but also presume their ability to learn, because they are very, very much capable of learning just like their peers. We have to understand the APRAXIA piece and the anxiety piece that goes along with Rett syndrome. If those two pieces are not understood, you're going to have a hard time reaching this child with Rett syndrome. Also, writing is essential, and you're asking yourself, okay, how does a girl who cannot use her hands learn to write? Well, there are ways to do it. It is being done. As a matter of fact, Blakely is currently working on her Christmas list right now that she is writing out with her communication partner at school. We also have to understand that emotional social piece that goes along with Rett syndrome. We have to understand that they are feeding off of our energy, just like all of our students are, but particularly the girls with Rett syndrome. We have to be patient, and we have to understand that there is a very real possibility that this disorder is going to be cured in the future. So we've got to make these kids ready to receive that cure and keep them on track as much as possible as we can with their peers, because that's truly where they want to be. So backing up a little bit, Rett is not a cognitive disorder. They are capable of learning. You have to remember they are locked in their bodies. So again, this is a motor disorder. It is not a cognitive disorder. As far as we know and understand, and what's been proven, is that they are tracking 100% in line with their peers as far as their cognitive ability, their emotional, their social, every other aspect of them outside of their motor capabilities are on par with their peers. So we have to remember that. A good book to read to kind of understand what's happening in their body. It's actually written by a student, I think with CP, which has very similar challenges, but it's called Out of My Mind. If you haven't read that, I would definitely recommend reading that and kind of their experience with people who equated their physical ability to their cognitive ability, and then later on as they understood, oh, this little kid is really in there, how they started working with this child differently and what a difference that made in their life. Also going back to the communication and the complication, this is very complicated. It's going to need very specific strategies for success. No one comes out of college knowing these things. Please don't try to bring theory into this. Yes, some of your past experience might be helpful, but they are most likely going to need highly specialized tools and training from specialists who do this day in and day out. A communication partner is key. You have to give this child an aid day to day and a communication partner to help them with their partner assisted scan when they're using their eye gaze, because that is a strength of girls with Rett syndrome. That's how they communicate, is with their eyes. Also, don't be afraid to ask for help. It's a complicated physical disorder. As I've said, it puzzles almost 100% of teachers and SLPs, so that training piece is essential. We use an organization called Rett University. Susan Norwell leads that front. There's a lot of individuals, or several individuals, I would say, like her, that have worked with girls with Rett syndrome, have adapted tools that are crucial and critical to helping these girls communicate, reading, writing, eye gaze devices, that type of thing. So presume competence and their ability to learn. They don't just do things by accident. A lot of times we've found that Blakely will show us that she can do things one time, and you better be looking for it and you better record it and then build on it, move up. Don't keep asking her to do the same things over and over again. It's hard enough to get her body to do those things and to express those things. Once she's shown you that she's capable of doing it, move on to the next thing. Also, the apraxia and the anxiety piece. You have to understand this apraxia, the global apraxia that exists from this. Again, that body betraying them. They may have a thought or know what they want to say or what they want to do, and those neurons misfire, and maybe the opposite thing happens. So find that good yes and no. They're usually really good with that from a motor perspective. When Blakely says yes, she looks at you, or she uses a board on her desk that says yes and no, and she eye gazes to either one. But you have to understand that apraxia piece, and then you have to understand how that apraxia is a lot of times compounded by the anxiety piece, because anxiety is interwoven with Rett syndrome. So think of being really smart, knowing what people are saying and asking you, but then your body betrays you when it comes to expressing that. So we have to understand the anxiety, the emotional component that they're dealing with, all the things that they're having to control, and then also trying to keep this information in their head that you're asking of them, and then also express that through these adapted tools. It requires so much more energy for them to answer correctly. Again, let's not make them repeat it over and over and over again. Be ready, watch for it, be amazed at what they can do, and then keep building on that for them. That writing piece, again, you're saying, okay, wait, this girl can't use her hands. How can I ask her to write? There are ABC flip books. There are eye gaze capabilities to allow them to spell, to pick out core words, to use word prediction software. All these tools are available. All these tools are things that Blakely uses to write. And like I said, she's currently writing her Christmas list right now. She writes about stories that she reads. All of these things that are her ideas, and think about how amazing that is for them to express their own ideas. That's been a challenge since they were young and wanted to do these things, and now we're giving them that capability to do it. And I know it's built her confidence so much, and also established her with her peers. Like, oh, she's got thoughts of her own, she's got her own opinion, she's got her own ideas, and then she's able to express those through her writing. So start young with that if you can. The emotional social piece, just like we would teach a deaf student how to sign, or how we teach peers how to sign with a deaf student. This is the same thing. Use these tools in front of the class. This helps legitimize the student's intellect and capability. I'll never forget when I had a mom text me one day, and she said her son came in saying how amazing Blakely had done in math class that day and how amazing she was at estimating. And that is one thing we've been really surprised at, is that Blakely is very good at math. And for a kid who can't manipulate objects, that's kind of amazing. So her teachers believed in her, her team believed in her, and she's exploded in math and shown what she's capable of. She just kind of has that math mind, and I'm so thankful that they've discovered that in her, but also that her peers are recognizing this. They realize that she's in there too, and that she's an equal. And just because she can't do some of the same things with her body doesn't mean that she can't engage with them in meaningful ways. Also, she feeds off your energy. Just because she can't verbalize things doesn't mean she can't hear you. Be careful how you speak to her. She will feed off your energy, your encouragement, your positivity, or your lack thereof. And I get it, we all have bad days, but just remember, yours probably didn't start with waking up with Rett syndrome, not being able to get out of bed, not being able to get yourself dressed, not being able to go to the bathroom by yourself, not being able to say exactly what you wanted for cereal that morning, or for breakfast that morning, or telling your mom kind of what you were nervous about for that day. I mean, all of these things are things that she's dealing with on a daily basis, and that's a lot for a kid to have to handle, and that we aren't dealing with that. We've been blessed in so many ways physically, and so try to use those physical blessings that you have to help her reach her talents and abilities, and most of those are on a cognitive level. Walk a mile in her shoes, and try to understand what she's going through so that you can treat her in the same way you would want to be treated if you were going through the same thing as well. Also, be patient, give them more time. It's most likely going to require more time to do almost everything. Again, put yourself in their shoes, think outside of the box, connect with her. They can connect, and when they do, it is so powerful and so strong. If she trusts you, if she knows that you believe in her, if she knows that you won't give up on her, she will not give up on you, and you will find some of your most rewarding work in her. And like I said earlier, we believe with all our heart that this has the potential to be cured in this lifetime. So it's our job as parents, and we love it when her team is involved in this and making her the best Blakely, or the best student that she can be, so that hopefully when that cure comes, she's more able to receive that. But always keep learning, walk them out in their shoes, never stop learning. Go get those resources. I know this requires a lot of money a lot of times, and keep in mind that these parents have been fighting for so much for so long. Don't make them go fight for the money to be able to afford the resources and the training that this kid needs. Again, most districts don't know how to handle this, so don't be afraid to step up on their behalf. Be an advocate for that child. Go get the funding necessary to get the tools and get the training, because these kids are worth it. So thank you so much for listening to this today. I hope it raises awareness. I hope this helps you in the future. Anything that our journey can bring as far as good to other people's journey, we feel like is a win, and it's the way that this is all being used for good. So please reach out to us or to Kim if you ever have a student in the future that could potentially benefit from some of these tools and resources that we've already found. And just thank you for being willing to listen to this.